I am joined right now by my man, Dr. J.R. Robertson, who is one of the co-authors of the book Black Faces in White Places. We're going to talk to him a little bit about the book, writing the book, some of the strategies inside the book, and let's learn a little bit more about Dr. J.R. Robinson and Dr. Randall Pink. J.R., my man, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Barry.
Good. Now I need you to talk just a little louder.
All right.
But wanted to talk to you about your book.
Well, here's the book, Black Faces in White Places, what we've been talking about for a long time. Subtitle, 10 Game-Changing Strategies to Achieve Success and to Find Greatness. We call it this idea of Black Faces in White Places because that's been our experience. For us, Randall Pinkett and I, it's been all the way from elementary school through to college, all the way into our academic and careers at colleges and universities, some of the best in the country and in the world, as well as in corporate America. So this idea of having black faces in white places is something that we think is important for people to talk about. So we talked about it in terms of our experiences, but then we also went on and talked about it in terms of experiences of people who you might think of as successful, like Don Thompson, who's the CEO, the COO of McDonald's Corporation, or Major Carter, the environmental activist, or Benjamin Jealous, who runs the NAACP. All these people have had these experiences of being black faces in white places. So that's what the book is basically about. And then we talk about those 10 strategies, which I guess we'll talk a little bit about later.
Okay, and one of the things that I focus on a lot is getting our kids, our youngsters, to understand that there is a game they need to play. I mean, it's okay to be involved with your culture and to accept your blackness. But if you wanted, but we wanted to talk about a little bit more about what is this game that you guys talk about?
Yeah, well, we call it the game because there's a competition going on. There's the competitive world that we live in. The other analogy people sometimes use is the glass ceiling when they're talking about corporations. First of all, our book's not just about being in a corporation. But that said, even in academia or even in nonprofit organizations or government, there sometimes seems to be a limit to what black people are able to do. So what is that all about? Well, you used to call that a glass ceiling, but yet there have been people who have shattered that glass ceiling. So we think a better analogy is the game and thinking about leveling the playing field of the game. Because there's a competition going on. That competition has to do with who's going to be at the top. Who's going to be have the power to be able to do what they want to do. So that's why we call it the game, and not just the game, but the ever-changing game. Because just when you think you've figured out the game, sometimes the game's rules get changed.
Absolutely.
And that's part to what we're trying to talk about. We talk about not just playing the game or learning the game or mastering the game, but we talk about redefining the game or changing the game. And that is what the book is really about.
Now, how do people relate? Because I know some of the conversation inside the black community is the term selling out. So how does that relate to the book and being involved with the game without selling yourself or selling out your blackness, for lack of a better term?
Yeah, well, the first strategy speaks right to that. It's identity. When we talk about identity and purpose, we're talking about who you are, what you bring to the table. As an African American or as a black person, you are bringing something to the table, and you can't think of your blackness as a liability. It's an asset for lots of reasons. You bring a different perspective to the table. Even if you're the only one in the room, you bring a different perspective that's going to be helpful. If you think about the statistics, the demographics of what's happening in the United States, America is changing. It's changing. It's going to be more a majority minority very soon. Some states are already there. So your perspective as a black person, your way of doing things is going to be most relevant to lots of businesses, corporations, universities, and government. And so that's why you can't just say I'm going to be a sellout and go and try to be absorbed by the system. The game is changed when people realize that they're bringing something of value to the table.
Now, one of the things I talk about actually online a lot is that the unemployment rate for black people, let alone black males, is more than any other group in the country. How does this relate to that as far as us being entrepreneurs or again getting in the game?
Right. So in strategies 7 and 8, we talk about intrapreneurship and entrepreneurship. Some people are working for other people, and when you do that, we believe you need to have an entrepreneurial mindset, even working for a large corporation. So that's entrepreneurship. But the statistics tell us that only really 5% of black population is engaged actively in registered businesses. Businesses like the ones you're visiting on your walk through and journey through Black America. What's interesting to us is that entrepreneurial mindset is prevalent all throughout the community. But we're the people who say that we want to start businesses, but then we're the least likely to actually do it. So we encourage and show people the way in the book through Strategy 8 how to be entrepreneurial, whether that's to make a profit or whether that's for purpose. Because you could be an entrepreneur and you can be doing it to solve a social problem. And that's important for our community. We've got to have a lot more black social entrepreneurs out there. So that's where we talk about the entrepreneurship being valuable. It's really one of the greatest ways to create wealth. And that's important for not only individuals but also for the community.
And gotcha. And the one thing we were just talking about as far as the book is concerned, one of the strategies is giving back and how African Americans give back. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, our strategy 10 is give back generously. What we believe is that you need to be giving back your time, your talent, your treasure, and your touch back into the community and into America at large. You can't just be a consumer, you also need to be a citizen. A citizen is somebody who thinks about the community and how the community has lots of needs and issues that need to be dealt with. How do you do it? Well, you may have a day job, or may have be a business person who has their own entrepreneurial ventures. But what are you doing on the side to help a young person to succeed? How are you organizing yourselves with others to make an impact in a positive way in the community? Lots of people organizing to make things bad in our community. We need to organize to make things better. Hey, here it is, Black Faces in White Places.
Which is a great book. I'm definitely going to get a chance to read it. It brings about a lot of information, a lot of conversation and dialogue that we need to have, that we're going to hope to explore on this journey through Black America. So again, pick it up, take a read. I'm definitely going to be talking about it throughout my journey. Take a read. It might be a good place for us to start having a conversation. So